Hello, everybody. Welcome into the To Be Decided podcast, the podcast that likes to mix it up each week with a different subject. And in recent weeks, we've been talking about games, movies, books, musicals, and that's where we're going to do today. But we're going to this one's going to be a bit of a homage to all of the above, and then we'll have, and then we can come back again. And maybe in a couple of weeks' time or a week's time, whatever. All depending, because at the moment there is a some kind of football tournament going on, which may interfere with.
It's the World Cup, isn't it?
It is. The World Cup is happening at the moment. As of this broadcast, I think England play tonight. I was really surprised that I was going to get called in, but there we go. But having just had a week off, and but here we are. So welcome in everybody. Welcome in, Kate. How are you doing? It's change of weather again.
Warm.
So warm. I bet you're glad that you bought that fan that you said about a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah. That's just going on full blast tonight.
Yeah. It's I've had some rain, but it's muggy as well, so it's not. So that.
So I think that's the problem here. Is like it's a heavy heat. Like it feels humid.
Yeah. It does. It's like
if it was warm and dry, it'd be so much better.
Yeah, and then you can. I know, and you can also plan for it because, like, you don't want to. If it's muggy, it's hot. You don't want to be wearing too much, like, as a layer, and if you're going out anywhere because of being hot, but also you want to remain dry. So I guess there's umbrellas, so I guess that is a thing. So there is that, but I don't have one, and I think I'm probably just speaking more about myself really. But so when the weather changes, and it often does, especially in the UK. It can go from one extreme to another within the moments, and that's what we're experiencing. So we didn't do a podcast on last week. We had other plans. I think more so. It was more so because of you. You have a bit of a journey to make because we met up. We met up last week because. Last week's the last episode that we did was about musicals. It was to go and see Wicked in the West End.
Yes.
So obviously you're you've been up north and having to travel down. So you came and stayed down pretty much not too far from where I am. And we met up. We went into central London. I know, honestly, I think going back to the episode when we talked about musicals, and you asked me what is my favourite one. My favourite one to see live at the time was Mamma Mia, because it was fresh in my mind. I'd explained my reasons behind it as to why. The reason why I liked that one is because I'm more of an adult now, so the ones that I'd seen previously were more sort of family or younger generated, and this one again, Wicked, it is family oriented. It is aimed at a much younger audience. However, I was very tempted to buy the book, having seen it, and I think you warned me not to, but yeah.
So we can touch on that first. I mean,
because it's part
Wicked.
At some point.
Yeah. So for anybody who might be listening who doesn't know, first of all, how? Because of all of the media hype in the past 2 years, because of the films, how? So Wicked is the live. Well, it's about the life and death of the Wicked Witch of the West, hence the name Wicked. The Wicked Witch of the West being the main antagonist in Elf Frankenbaum's The Wizard of Oz. So, if you're struggling to think of who I mean, think of witch, green, pointy hat, evil cackle, flies on a broom, has flying monkeys, kills a scarecrow. And this musical, it's a very good musical. It's one of my favourites. It's very much up there. I adore it. The storytelling, the actual music itself, the stage production, the kind of acrobatics mid-air, brilliant. However, I do strongly, strongly recommend that you have a look at a set of trigger warnings before you read the books. Because the book, give me 1 second to find the actual name of it. It's called The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is what the kind of subtitle to the Wicked musical is. And the musical roughly follows the book. However, it is significantly darker. So in the past 2 years, we have had the Wicked films come out, which were wonderful. Great job all around. I think it was by John Chu was the director, I seem to remember. However, I'm awful with directors' names. Yes, it was John Chu. He did a wonderful job. However, there was a whole lot of controversy that came out with those films because of people not doing their research and seeing the first half of the film, which is all very, light-hearted, and these two girls are at school, but they're rivals, but they might be friends, but there's a love interest. And they went out and bought their kids The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which includes murder, it includes theft, it includes rape. It's a very, very dark set of books because L. Frank Baum, when he was writing all of those Wizard of Oz books, he wasn't thinking of how can I make this a big shiny musical. He was trying to justify this witch becoming who she is, and in order to do so, some truly terrible things happened to her. So I personally haven't read it, at least not yet. I do plan on reading it at some point. But particularly if you've got little ones and they're a fan of the musical, get them The Wizard of Oz. Don't get them The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch. At the very least, read it yourself first. Even some teens, like younger teens, I would recommend to keep it away from because it is decidedly dark. Yeah, like you said, the Gregory Maguire novel is the one that people tend to buy, and that is the one that is particularly dark. So if you're looking, don't do it unless you're going to read it yourself, or unless you've checked some trigger warnings. The Wizard of Oz, I'm sure there were several Wicked of Oz books. Wicked of Oz, I cannot speak today. There was a whole collection. You had like The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, obviously. You had the likes of Ozma of Oz, The Marvelous Land of Oz. There was a lot building on these stories, and those ones are supposed to be more kids' books. But people do tend to get them mixed up and think, oh, well, I don't want The Wizard of Oz, I want Wicked. Don't get me wrong, I read a lot of darker books. I'm probably fine with it. But it is one of those things that, like, check a trigger list, because there's a lot of triggering themes in it. However, if you want something nice to read, go buy The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. The book itself is actually wonderful. Ozma of Oz, The Road to Oz, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. There's like a whole selection of books by L. Frank Baum about the Wizard of Oz. And they are good stories. But the musical takes a very dark book and makes it palatable. I haven't told you this before, but did you know that Wicked is not actually the only musical based on The Wizard of Oz? There was a film released in 1978, and I think there's been a fair few stage productions since, based on the 1975 play called The Wiz. Now, The Wiz was initially released with an all-African-American cast, that in itself brought a lot of attention to it because it wasn't a common thing in 1975. But it takes Dorothy as a 24-year-old teacher from Harlem who is transported to like an urban fantasy land of Oz. She needs to find the Wiz, and she encounters all of the characters from The Wizard of Oz. It definitely not as much of a cult classic as Wicked, but it has a really strong fan base. This had Diana Ross in it. It had Michael Jackson in it, like the film. It had Ted Ross, Lena Horne. Like, it was a big production. Gotta be honest, I haven't actually listened to the music from The Wiz. What I can tell you is I know a lot of theatre groups that either do renditions of or songs from The Wiz. Like, it is popular. It's just not as mainstream popular. But you find that, I think we talked about this in the last episode on musicals in general, you tend to find that with the more contemporary musicals. You know, something like In the Heights isn't going to get the same kind of hype as My Fair Lady. But yeah, The Wiz. If you're interested, check it out. I do need to listen to the music and see if there's any to add on to my playlist, actually. But the music was actually supervised and produced by Quincy Jones, so I imagine it's more of a bluesy. So the musical first came out in 1975 as a stage production, and I believe the film came out in 1970. So it is an old one.
I've been muted. Shit.
Oh fuck! Have I just been able to hear me talking to myself?
Yeah, I've just been talking about. I was talking, but typing. So I Anyway, The Wiz.
Yeah, The Wiz.
You were answering. You were probably answering questions when there weren't questions. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing I did the segment on the book of Wicked, then, isn't it? Otherwise, it would have just been dead fucking silence.
Yes. Well, but that's fine. That's fine. We were talking about The Wiz, and yeah, I was agreeing with. I was just basically agreeing with you anyway. It was a lot of like. I've tried to verbally nod basically by just yeah, and I agreed with the fact that The Wiz is like a 1975 play, as you said, or musical, and it was the film adaptation of that. It was 1978, and Quincy Jones, that as you said, was the
bluesy R&B,
bluesy R&B. Yeah, basically the music was pretty much in his hands, kind of thing. Yeah, it's a different take on the whole Wizard of Oz, but so. What we're doing is basically we're covering all of the areas that Wizard of Oz has been an adaptation of, because we have, as we said right at the start, we went and saw the West End version of the musical. Before we go into it, had you seen any other production of this prior to the London
No,
version?
I've not seen it on stage.
You've never? Oh, okay. Because I know you.
No, the first time I wanted to see it on stage, I wanted to be London, because I wanted to see all of like the theatrics, and there was a lot of aerials done, which you struggle to do unless you've got the right stage. So I wanted to see it in London.
Yeah. I do want to. I will get into it much more in a second. Just wanted to cover up a few bases and a few areas. So we spoke about the musical in our big music episode. So we're just sort of coming back on to covering up because it's most recent. And the fact is, there was a group of us. There was 4 of us went in.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Baby Bingley was with us as well.
Yes, she was.
And it's not the first time we've all met up, but it is second time. But I knew that there was a reason that Baby Bingley wanted to see it. So I don't know if she had seen an adaptation of it, but I'm guessing not.
No, Baba Bingley got her love of musicals from me, I'm afraid.
You are very much an influence.
Yes. As you know, I do a lot of singing in my spare time. And growing up, when I was, looking after the kids, doing the housework, making tea, I would start belting musicals, and a lot of those songs were from Wicked, because there were a lot of songs that are very much within my powerhouse. So as she's kind of grown up being exposed to it, and her father's dad, when she was a teenager, got tickets for her 2 cousins to go down to London and see it with him, and he didn't invite her.
Yeah.
And since then, she has been desperate to go see it, because she missed out on going with her cousins to see it, and a family trip that she wasn't invited to. Yeah. So as soon as I'll tell anybody listening to the podcast, because I find it really fucking funny. the first thing I did when Mr. Steve offered to get the tickets was I said, "Oh, I'm going to text Hannah and tell her she'll hate me." Mr. Steve then very kindly offered to buy Baba Bingley a ticket, which, of course, very, very kind of you, and Baba Bingley does greatly appreciate it if she has that. And I still went to her and said, "Oh, guess what? I'm going to see Wicked in June next year." And she told me to fuck off, as she does, because she's got my potty mouth. To which I said, "Oh, so you're not going to want your ticket then?" And she called me and screamed down the phone.
Oh.
I'm talking like proper like Wilhelm scream down the phone. And then was like, "I need to go, I'm about to cry, I need to go tell my friends." And then I heard her screaming to her friends as she hung up. So she was very excited.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice to hear. I mean, I had briefly heard that anyway, but for the sake of this, but yeah. No, I'm glad that she able to come down and see it. Like I said, it was. I wanted to as well. It wasn't that, we all wanted to see it. Everyone that we was with. Yeah, and we did. We have now seen it. I should add, by the way, this is the musical that's done. The music for this was Stephen Schwartz, wasn't it?
Sondheim.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I think it was Sondheim. Let me double check that because I'm doubting myself.
Yeah, no, I thought I was getting the right name, and then maybe I weren't.
No, you were right, Stephen Schwartz.
Right. Okay. Good.
You were right. I got my Stevens mixed up.
Okay. Good.
Apologies, Mr. Schwartz.
Good. Right. Okay. So that's all the name dropping then. Well, I say that's all the name dropping. Actually, there's a few castings. I wanted to, before we go in, when we got into we get into the auditorium, we're entering, waiting to go up to our seats, and I think you guys all got some merch. No, I didn't, but I come away thinking, oh, maybe I could have got a cap, and you did point that out. But anyway,
it's still comfortable.
But it's worth pointing this out because you got some inside information. Well, I say inside information; it's no big secret, but it was good information to know that the understudy came on instead. It was a last-minute decision, so. Do you know what? I don't even know. Like, I don't know. So I know one of you's got a program, and I didn't. But
yeah, hang on, I'm gonna get a name.
But it would be interesting to get a name up because I think we all said about how important it was for the understudy to have rehearsed alongside the main cast, because obviously there is such a time when, as we found out in this particular instance, that one of the lead cast members was unable to perform for whatever reason. We were never really sure, and it's not really of any importance as to why they can't, other than the fact that they just couldn't. And so the understudy stepped in. They had a lot. We were then told that they had pretty much a last-minute dress rehearsal. So you had a dress rehearsal. I think we went on a Thursday, and the Thursdays you also have a matinee. So I'm not sure if it's the second.
So what we heard was the cast was supposed to have Emma Kingston playing Elphaba. And as you're saying, Thursdays are matinee day. So it's the one day of the week when you have two shows. You have a mid-afternoon and you have an evening. And what we found out was the alternate had to swing on for Elphaba. I think it was about halfway through the second act in the matinee.
Yeah. Right.
The alternate, I've just found the name, I believe, was Laura Emmett.
Right.
And after this swinging, so obviously we don't know what happened with Emma Kingston, but she wasn't able to do the evening show unexpectedly. So after the matinee finished, they had to do an emergency rehearsal the entire way through. So keep in mind, a matinee started about 3:30. This musical's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm lying to you. The matinee started much earlier than that. I think it finishes at 3:30. It starts about 11:30, finishes about 3:30. I'm getting myself really mixed up. I must apologise. But so they've basically done, the cast members have done the matinee straight into a rehearsal, straight into the evening show. So 3 shows back to back, pretty much. So they've been singing for about 9-10 hours. Okay. And the alternate, Laura Emmett, I believe I named to be. If I've gotten that wrong, please somebody correct me. Was absolutely fucking outstanding.
Yes. Yeah. She was 100%. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm a musical aficionado. We've had conversations about me judging the accents and the singing of people in musicals. If I hadn't been told that that was an alternate, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Truly outstanding job.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I thought it was important to mention as we entered that change because of that extra works that she's had to do. I mean, not just her, but like obviously the cast. I've had to quickly readjust because they've got to get used.
Absolutely.
They have someone else coming on, and yes, of course they all rehearse. They all have to rehearse the same thing.
But it's different as soon as you sub somebody in, though, it changes.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to literally just about to say. Is that anytime that happens, and I'm sure it happens more than we realize, but it's just to have to step up at last minute is definitely ballsy and gutsy, and I can't imagine. I mean, other than being the only real sort of like thing I've ever done was probably at school, but that's not exactly West End theatre. So we do praise her, and yeah, it was just an amazing to watch and to hear as well. Obviously, anyone who knows the movies obviously knows the set pieces and that, and as to what goes on, it is the story of the Elphaba and Glinda's relationship as they went through high school, how they met, how they got a high school or college, whatever the equivalent is, I don't know, but yeah. And it's just that it's the backstory of how we got the Wicked Witch of the West and how, that ties into the Wizard of Oz, and that's what the whole setup is. It's the whole story is all based around that whole idea of that's how they became. Without giving away any spoilers, it's on. But I mean, I'm sure there are people who are aware of the movies and much rather go and watch the movies, which is fair. I mean, I don't know whether I would have. Looking back on it, it's hard to say. Now it's all in hindsight, anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have wanted to watch the. I never had any real inkling to want to watch this musical until I discovered the what. From you again, I'm going back to our previous episode, from your influence of taking on musicals and appreciating them better. So with that in mind, I could have appreciated watching this musical before the film and then completely understanding the film and having a different comparison than what I already have now. Like obviously the biggest thing is that it's condensed, isn't it? The whole musical is the stage production is condensed, whereas the films have been split into 2 films. The show itself is split into 2 halves anyway, because you have to have an interval at some point, as you would do anyway. So, but yeah, it's much shorter, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, one thing that I quite enjoy about the film and the musical as like separate entities is John Chu didn't make the mistake of trying to force the musical into one film. So like you said, he did split it into 2, and as part of that, all of the first act is the first film. There are minor bits of lore building in there, and I mean, it's literally that's the only thing that they add to the first half, is just not even full scenes, but just like tiny bits of conversations or transitions between scenes to flesh it out. the second half of the musical, they did add 2 songs in.
Mm-hmm.
One of which I thought was very strong, very good addition. The other I was a little bit about, but I mean, they did add to the story.
Yeah.
You could watch either one of those films on their own. You know, like they are full-length films. But what I really, really enjoy is the fact that John Chu did this as a theatre lover. And you can tell that he has, because one thing that I always get concerned about when it comes to film adaptations of musicals is if you watch the film and it's you can still go and see the stage production and enjoy the stage production. But if you see the stage production and it's really good, but not in the right way, it can ruin what you see on the stage.
Yeah.
I'm thinking in particular, I quite enjoy stage productions of Little Shop of Horrors. But the film Little Shop of Horrors puts me off going to see it. Chicago, really good film. But that film had, I'm trying to think of how to put it into words. I'm thinking particularly the song like Cell Block. In a film, you can have so many extras and so many effects, and you can make the sound so big that when I went to see Chicago on stage, granted it was only a small production, it wasn't, London, but it means that when you see this onstage production, which is just supposed to be the 6 women in the song, it falls a tiny bit flat for me now because I've heard this bigger version. I didn't have any of that with the Wicked films. Absolutely none of it. They took the heart and soul of those songs and what was meant to be small, but it kept small, and what was meant to be bigger than life, they took bigger than life, but they didn't take it any more than what the music is on stage. I think that's such a love letter to theatre performers.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was really like I said about I was just going to actually say, I'm glad you mentioned the differences between watching it before and after. Like, yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm glad that I'd watched the film first because I wouldn't have had that need for more. And so I'm glad we did it in that way. I keep thinking about it now. It's still, even a week on, it's still tingle, that watching something live. Because of that change, also, I've never experienced. I mean, I think I said it at the time. There may have been one at Mamma Mia, but I'm not sure because we were so high up. Whereas the way this theatre's set up, there's only one level, which is the grand circle, I think, above you, but everything else is all on. It's all one level down on the floor.
Yeah.
And you just, it's obviously graduated so that you can see over people's heads, because obviously that's what
Wonderful
would definitely, and that would be a bit of a ruin. You want to be able to see the stage. We were far enough back that we could still see the full stage, and we could and there was no real interruptions. And I emphasis on the real because. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I won't get too much into it, but yeah, as always, etiquette is still kind of ignored.
I feel like we've talked about it constantly, but
we talk about etiquette.
If you're going to say something in public, keep your fucking mouth shut, stay off your phone, and take it in. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. As always, yeah, with the etiquette side of things, there was a couple of people had to be like just had their shoulders tapped on by ushers and stuff. Put your phone away. Just enjoy the music. I mean, why do we feel the need to actually film it on the phone? Like you're only going to re-watch it through the eyes of the lens, not the eyes of your face.
Do you know what was irritating to me? Is it wasn't even people recording it; it was people scrolling through TikTok.
Yeah. Why spend that money for a seat, and all you're doing is doom scrolling? Like, that's literally the worst type of person. People who couldn't get seats would have given their buck teeth in order to sit where you were sat, because you feel like that was more important. just turn your literally turn your. It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, I know. I know we have covered this before. This is my biggest bugbear in things. What I hate the most is that if you're going to go somewhere, literally 3 hours. If you can't live 3 hours without your phone, then what are you even doing? Honestly, doesn't matter whether it's theatre. I mean, theatre is the worst because it's live. It's not like it's not, which is still not a good reason to sort of, regardless whether you're in a cinema, that's still not a good reason to still talk just because the actors can't hear you, because it's a film. But still, yeah, doesn't matter if it's cinema or wherever you are. If you're in a place for a couple of hours, turn your phone off, put it on silent, whatever, put it away. There is an interval for a reason. It's not just for a toilet break, but you check your social media afterwards or during the interval.
Yeah.
Just don't be a dick, basically. Obviously, people are going to buy at the concession stands. They're going to buy sort of popcorn, which is the loudest snack in the world when you're trying to listen to something. Because yes, it's singing, but there's also some dialogue, and it's very off-putting. And it's very much off-putting when a lot of people have certain things about, if they need to concentrate on something and they can hear something else, that's ruining it for the, not everyone, is in the same mindset. And, people do have, like ADHD or something like that, where they need to have that. Maybe that's not the best environment. I don't know. Maybe this is not the best sort of thing. I think you get where I'm coming from, and where,
No, I do.
People can be easily distracted by a sound, and they're going to miss something because you're creating said sound, or whatever it is. So yeah, just you've got 3 hours, literally just 3 hours in your life. You've paid a lot of money for those seats, and then they're not expensive. They're not expensive, but they're not cheap either. They're not. You paid some money. Enjoy it. So
I think there's something to be said for timing as well. Like, one thing that we noticed when we went to see it was, for some reason, we went to the Thursday evening show, and every fucking school in Europe was there.
Yes, that's true.
And a lot of these kids were on their phone. A good few of these kids were asleep.
Yeah.
If you're taking kids to a show, take them to the matinee.
Yes.
When they're still awake, they're still paying attention. And then either go do something on the night or just let them be kids on the night. If you're taking kids that are some of these kids looked about 12, 13. If they've been away from home on a school trip, walking around London all day, no doubt doing a lot of things, having a lot of exercise, and then you expect them to sit through an entire show without causing a havoc or falling asleep, you've got unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, just that I think we all sort of questioned that was the really wrong choice for. I mean, yeah, I don't know whether that was just because they got a better deal. I don't know what the motivation is behind it, but that was the wrong choice. It was just poorly planned, or just they're just going for maybe it was just cheaper. I don't know, but it was like you said, it was a Thursday night. It was pretty much the whole auditorium everyone was covered. Every seat was basically a child, which was, that's a cause for disaster, because, I think in some areas they did become respectful. They did some of them did, not everyone does listen. Some of them wandered around, they down the walkways, and it's just oh, I don't know. But yeah, it's probably the wrong time to be taking out those kids. Like you said, they were a lot of them quite young, and
don't get me wrong, a lot of them were very well behaved. And you do have to commend a lot of they weren't causing a ruckus, they weren't being intentionally disruptive. But I just think, for me, having, taken kids to shows before, my own, not random ones, just to be clear, before those allegations get out and get cancelled. Having taken Baba Bingley to musicals from a pre-teen age.
Yeah.
If they're going to struggle with the attention span, or you've already got a lot going on, do it in the afternoon. Then you give them the evening to either chill, get hyper, do what they want, go to sleep. It gives them the chance to process afterwards. Whereas I think, a lot of kids, if you do something that late, they're going to get back and they're going to go straight to sleep. They're not going to be thinking about what they've seen or deciding, dissecting it like we did when we left afterwards for ages. And especially if you're taking them as a school, typically you're taking them for a reason. If it's for like a music course or something, you want them to be awake and alert enough afterwards to be able to process it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, they're not going to be doing that if they're like, I mean, what time that finished? I think it finished sort of what, maybe 10? I don't know, 9:30, 10? Because it's what is it?
It's about 10, yeah.
10 o'clock, which makes it right. So yeah, you're looking at the first half was about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Then there's a 30-minute break. So if it started at 7:30, which it didn't, but that was
no, it didn't start till about 8.
Oh, there was about 10-minute delay because we had to wait for all of those kids and all of those schools to settle before they got started. So we was already 10 minutes behind. But yeah, so 7:30 till an hour and a half, so an hour, so roughly hour and a half. So that was about 9 o'clock. Yeah. So that was 9 o'clock. Then you got 30 minutes, 9:30. Another, I think 45 minutes, the second half. I think it's not,
It's not as long as the first half.
No, it's not as long. No, I did think that actually, watching it, thinking we're nearly done. I wasn't checking time or anything, but like obviously I've got the comparison to the movie. I'm like, oh, we're nearly done, because I knew that in order of like what song we were on, I roughly guessed where we were from the film, from having seen the film. So I was like, okay. First half is definitely longer than the second, but that's fine. I didn't mind that. You've got everything you need to know within the whole time frame anyway.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I think you pointed it out to me on the day. There's just plot points thrown in through conversation without it being seen. It's just there's enough there to sort of like you knew the story, you knew where you knew that you had enough information to go on, in regards to set pieces that were happening. I'm not going to obviously name them because I still feel like it should be something to experience anyway. But let's face it, it's been out long enough, I think, and with the music, with the film and that, people understood the story, but to see it on the stage, something else. I just can't. I couldn't stop thinking about it. As I was going to say, I did sort of like was starting about when one of the things I didn't finish speaking about was I never experienced it. Going back to what I said about with Mamma Mia, I think there was a standing ovation, but that was much more. I think for the whole ensemble, but also because of the actress stepping up.
Yeah.
That standing ovation, like having taken part in that, that's something else for me to remember as well. That's a memory that I've never experienced it like in that setting before. That was. I think my hands are still buzzing, from the amount of clapping we did, because like that obviously at the end of every big piece, there's generally a round of applause anyway. So you're clapping a lot of the times, you're having to and then there was obviously the standing ovation. So that, which went on for a lot longer than I thought it actually. And that was completely fine, completely fair. Everyone deserved to be applauded. But again, like I said, rightly so, I think, for the actress to come in, the understudy to come in and just literally do that performance. Absolutely bravo.
Absolutely.
But yeah, glad we've now done that. I don't know what else to add, because honestly, it was something I've never experienced. And yeah, all right, I've got those other previous ones that I said before, but yeah, that was absolutely outstanding.
Oh, just you wait, Steve. Wait until me and B get you for a musicals karaoke night.
Well, I look forward to that. I say that, you know, I'm lying. Yeah, maybe I should start looking now as to what songs to actually think about.
Yeah, get practicing. Get
practicing. Because I mean, there's a few. It doesn't have to be from Wicked, but it might be. So many times have I wanted throughout this whole thing to just blurt out something, and I'm really restraining myself so much. Honestly, I am. It's a little bit. I've got to try and hold back as much as I can. But maybe one of those thoughts that are, maybe they are one of the songs, and maybe those might be one of the songs I might actually do on that musical karaoke time. So yeah. And that won't go up anywhere, by the way. That's not going up on YouTube. I mean, this podcast will, but not, no.
Yeah, no. You'll have to get us a pretty damn big following in order for us to live stream that shit.
Yeah, I want to see at least 50 subs before I get that.
Yeah. All right. There's a goal for everybody. 50 subs, whether that be on Twitch or on YouTube or on Spotify, I think we're on.
Yeah. Any of those
50
platforms.
subs across any of them.
Yeah, and then we
will record
I'll record
one
I'll
song
record
each from the musical karaoke night.
Yeah, there we go. There's a challenge for you.
That's really falling off the arm.
Oh no. Yeah, I honestly, I've got there's not much else I can add to that, because I think without giving any real plot points away.
Yeah, without spoilers.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground on talking about a musical that we've just been waiting such a long time to see, and I'm grateful for it. I'm here for it, and I can't wait for whenever the next one is, whatever the next one is, because I think I've now covered all what I wanted to cover in terms of what I wanted to watch or see live. I mean, I did mention I'd like to see Hamilton live, but because I've seen it, I have seen the Disney recording of it on Disney Plus, which is where I've seen it from. So I'm happy with this. So I now need, I guess it's a challenge more for you maybe than anybody else, because you're the one who pretty much got me into this mindset in the first place. Although I had said it in the past, I have had a secret longing for wanting to see a musical, but I've never been openly admitted to it. I suppose it's my coming out moment on musicals. It's just, if you want to put it that way. Yeah, I'm happy for that. But now, what's my next one gonna be? What's my next big one to see?
Honestly, I think in terms of a next one to go see, I think Hamilton's a very good option. I I've said that I'd quite like to go and see like Death Becomes Her.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. I am waiting for the tickets to come out for Hadestown, which is doing like one run in England. So you are, of course, as always, more than welcome to join us on that. Which might be a nice, fun, something different for you.
Yeah.
But I think I will be looking at that one up in Newcastle as opposed to in London.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, if we did do that, you could get a train to York and then travel up with me and B.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a problem. Yeah, but we've got a good couple of options. I think the next steps, though, is introducing you to some more of the musical films.
Yeah, I mean,
we haven't done a movie night in a while, have we?
No, we haven't. I mean, we did say about, I think we said it on the last episode. We did, or the one before, I can't remember. But definitely, we have said it in the previous episodes, where those musicals, or the films.
Death Becomes Her and Heathers, I think.
Those were the two that were definitely mentioned as possible movie nights. So yeah, we definitely got to get back to doing something like that soon. It's probably worth noting, not that it is anyone's surprise, I literally got up on the Friday and immediately put on the music version.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Of the stage production, and that was pending your next visit with to me anyway. So that was, I'd listened to the whole album during my whole breakfast and my journey towards our meeting point, but which I think I'd already mentioned anyway. But yeah, that was literally done that, and then I came home and watched the first film again, which I thought, you know what, if you're able to, then fair enough. If not, you can stream it, which I know that you did try, but that was I didn't expect you to watch it.
We only put it on for a little bit when we hit that traffic jam and literally stopped moving for 45 minutes. We had the car turned off and like the windows open and everything.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate incident that you've had to face because it adds to your journey, doesn't it, as well? So
yeah, we'll not talk about that on here though because it was a grim outcome.
Yeah, that's fair.
However, I think we'd leave the game we'll be playing today for next time.
Yes, that's fair.
Give us a chance to play some more and give us something to talk about next time. However, I have a very, very small game for us to play before we finish. Once we've gone through everything.
Okay, right. So we could leaving that behind now. Because this is it's going to be a much shorter episode than we normally did, and we always try to cover like one particular sort of like media type, or and we aim towards certain gaming or books which we've done in the past. Musicals, obviously, this is more of an extension to the musical episode. But yeah, I just wanted to actually add, just circling back onto the games front. I finished playing 007 First Light. I just wanted to add my little 10 cents, whatever it was, whatever you called it. Brilliant game. It's if you are a Hitman / Bond fan, which I am, it definitely ticks every box. It's the writing, the mocap, that you can clearly see they're having fun with that. The music, and I think I mentioned it briefly on one of the episodes. I don't know, I can't remember the actor's name, but yeah, it's very good. Let me have a quick look on the cast because it's important. Patrick Gibson, who plays Bond. It's kind of a prequel or a reinvention of the whole James Bond thing. We start off with a young 26-year-old MI6 recruit on a journey to becoming a 00 agent. Yeah, like I said, Patrick Gibson. He was in Dexter, Original Sin, and Shadows of Bone. Yeah, it's got a couple of big sort of names. Lenny Kravitz being one of them.
Very nice.
Lenny James is the voice of John Greenway. He does a lot of voice acting for other things. Destiny 2 being one of them. The Walking Dead. Mayor of Kingstown. Yeah, he was also. Who else was in there? There's a few other actors. Anthony Howell, who is one of the. I think he's the antagonist in it. Anthony Howell does a lot of voice acting in some of games that I've played before. I can't think of any, but right now, I think. Oh, he played in. He was one of the. He was the voice actor. He done the android in Alien Isolation. I can't remember the name of the android, but
really?
Yes. So he was that. He played that character. So I do know, and there was a couple of other things he's done before. So I've always liked anything he's done before. So yeah, he's in it. But honestly, one of my most. I think it has potential to be Game of the Year. I can see it actually doing really well of Game of the Year. Lots of people have pretty much. I'm just echoing a lot of other people what I've said before about it. Yeah, great writing. It's very, very. Patrick Gibson does a very good young Bond actually.
Yeah.
As an like obviously motion capture and obviously obviously the actual voice actor of him. Oh, and I must mention there's a few things throughout the game, but I will point out for those who are for the kids out there who know who you are, Jacksepticeye has a part in it. Yeah, he has a small part in it. I mean, kind of knew that because I managed to catch one of his streams, or his stream when he did it. So yeah, so they obviously asked him. It is from IOI, I think. I think they're the ones who made it. They're the ones who done a lot of the Hitman's stuff. So yeah, I think it's IOI. I'm not too sure. Store page. Yeah, it's IO Interactive, but abbreviation is IOI. IO Interactive, developed and published by them. It is fairly dear, but like you could probably get it cheaper elsewhere. But like on Steam, at least, it's about 60 quid. I didn't pay that.
I mean, for something with the James Bond in, you'd expect that, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it is a AAA game, but honestly, as a AAA game, I said I will never buy a AAA game again, and I just fell into that trap. I mean, they went fishing, and I bit because I am a bit of a James Bond fan. I like where they ended up with Daniel Craig Bond. I'd watched all of those. Honestly, if this was a movie, I'd go and see it again.
It's now a bad time for me to say that I've never seen a James Bond film.
Do you know what? It's totally fair. If you haven't seen it, if that's not your thing, that's completely fair. Honestly,
I just think I've never been like, sometimes you've got to be like really in the mood to watch something. I don't think I've ever like looked at one of the James Bond titles and gone, you know what? Yeah, I'm in the mood for that.
No, that's fine. Honestly, I'm not judging people who don't watch it. It's completely what's the word? Subjective. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's everything is like you either like it or you don't, or if it's something that you want to watch, then feel free, or play in this case. But yeah, this has definitely got this. It's set pieces throughout the game. I'm not going to spoil too much, but it's been out long enough now. In a lot of early or Bond films, or in any sort of film where training is a progress and it's done in a montage, there's a set piece, there's a set part of the game that's, where they do a montage, but you actually play that montage. So I'll give an example of the montage piece is done in the way it's the transition in between each training part is so smooth. It's almost like, so you'll do push-ups, you're pushing your space bar, and then all of a sudden you're pushing W to go forward because you're now armed with a gun, and then you're fighting someone in the ring. But so you're having to change your hand placements on the well, for me at least, on the keyboard. I guess it could be played. Well, it can be played with controller, but for my personal game style, I prefer to play on the mouse and keyboard. The transitioning just works. It's such a brilliant way that they done the montage. I'm sorry if that spoils it. I don't care. Not to say I don't care, but I do, and I don't. That for me was actually a really good way in which they done that. So you do the training.
An interesting mechanic.
It's such a good mechanic where they do the whole montage of him training, because it starts off he's fighting, he's driving, he's shooting, he's doing a push-up, and each segment is done with different controls, but it's fluent. There's no, like, the only time you really stumble is because you are not very good at, or because I'm not very good at the game. So that's the only time you stumble on anything. You know, 1 minute you're 1 minute you're running forward, the next minute you're doing a push-up, the next minute you're doing a fight, and then you're having to use more the mouse. And then it's a switch back. Yeah, there's a little bit of like 78 on the push-ups, and then all of a sudden we get to like 99. And you're like, wait, I haven't failed. They're just being dicks on, in the montage. That's all they're doing. It's quite really good. It was done really well. But yeah, a lot of references throughout the whole game of previous Bond games, and there's so many Easter eggs, and you'll spot them if you are a fan of those types of films. You'll spot them straight away. It dick teases you with the James Bond theme throughout, and then you're like, come on, play it. I'm not going to tell you when it happens, but it's it's a Bond film, a Bond game, sorry. So it's just a question of when, not is it, but when. And that for me was brilliant. Boss fights were there because it's a game, not a film, and yeah, the transitionings between locations are exactly like that as you watch on screen. Yeah, they really put a lot of thought into this. I think this, compared to, there was an Indiana Jones game which was very much along the same line as this, where you feel like you're playing the movie. And that Indiana Jones film, game, by the way, does actually start off with one of the exact same set pieces in one of the films. And I'm like, so yeah, that's where I'm comparing those two. This is definitely Game of the Year, 100%. I don't think it gets a bad review at all. In fact, it's very positive on 14,000 very positive reviews. Yeah. If you like Hitman and if you like James Bond, this combines the two. In fact, even if you don't like those, as a game, it's really good. Just as a game, as a standalone sort of, like, I think it's important to know that it's definitely plays into that Bond thing. But it could have been. No, it couldn't. No, do you know what? I don't think I was going to say it could have been any title of a game, but I don't think it could. I think because there's too many. There is a lot of Easter eggs there. There's a lot of set pieces there that only a Bond game could get away with. So yeah, that's my game for this podcast because of the way this podcast is today. We're just keeping it short, and I just throwing in that. I got a confession to make, Kate. I'm reading the book, but whilst I was in work, I do listen to the audio, and I listen to audio stories, and I listened to Sunrise and Reaping.
Oh, did you?
Oh my God. I did finish it. And oh my God.
Do you get what I mean? About
yes.
Like, you know what's coming, but you get to the end and you forget that it's coming.
Yes, yeah.
Like the very last chapter, you don't realise
I wanted to punch so many people out of anger because of the I don't want to spoil anything on this particular thing, but yeah. Hamish,
yeah.
Hamish, I totally get, like, when we go into the Hunger Games and then you meet him for the first time, like his backstory is, oh my God, yes. So yeah, because it was Audible, and I can only listen to Audible when I can only listen to books when I'm at work. We've got too busy now. I can't read my books as I used to. I know when we did the books episode and I said about I do read them, that stopped now. Totally fine. But I am still reading the other book that you have. I've got a few pages in now since I last mentioned it to you. Yes, I am reading it and I'm getting on with it and I'm trying to read as much as I can on that one. But whilst I was working, I listened to the Sunrise and Reaping, and oh my God.
No, absolutely fair.
Oh my God. I'm glad.
You know what? I cannot wait for the film to come out.
Film, I want to see the film on that. I didn't see the other film. I don't know whether that's any good in comparison.
Sunrise and Snakes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It wasn't the best Hunger Games film, but it wasn't bad.
It's very interesting. Sorry, go on. You finish.
I was just going to say, I think considering the story that it's telling, I don't think they could have done any better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, because I read that one because I had time, but yeah. So this is the only one I've actually listened to out of all of the Hunger Games books. It's just purely because I needed something to keep me going throughout the day. I didn't need to listen to it. I could have waited, but I also wanted to keep one book for that suggestion that you've given me. So I wanted to keep that going and not. So I'm kind of doing two things at once, but like I'd rather read the book than listen to it. But when I can listen to it, if I don't have time, then that's why I do fall back to that. And I think I'd already mentioned my reasons behind it. So go back and listen to that episode, the books one, if you want to find out. It's called, what do we call it? Like, it's spicy. But anyway, yeah, the playlist is there. Go to, whenever you listen to the podcast, go to that particular episode, and then you'll understand why I listen to a lot of books rather than read them. So yeah, I did get through that. So I wanted to mention that. So this has been a mixed bag, but it's mostly aimed at the fact that I wanted to talk about Wicked. And I've also thrown in a book and a game this week, so it's kind of a mixed bag this week. And as we're getting closer to like 10 o'clock, we'll cut it short there. Unless you've got something you want to add. I don't think there's anything else I can actually add, to be fair. But for future,
I think I'm good.
Yeah, for future reference, if anyone's got anything that they want to talk about, let's see if it's what's your favourite whatever, and let us know what your favourite whatever is.
Or feel free to pose us a question. Give us something to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to drop us something in the comments and say, look, what do you think about? And as long as it falls within the media type, I mean, I'm down for talking about pretty much anything, but there's certain things that I would just draw a line under, or through. Yeah, if it's out of like the TOS, then obviously we won't do it. But yeah, keep it within reason. Keep it. Don't be that guy. So yeah, with that said, and yeah, I've done my terms and services and all that. I think we'll wrap it up on this one, Kate, if that's all right. If you wanna, unless you've got something you want to add, but yeah, feel free to do what game that you had in mind. We'll finish on that.
Oh, I think you all. Sorry, I'm gonna wait for it to stop talking. There we go. I think you all know what's coming next. It's time for.
Is it? And isn't it? Isn't it? A porn game.
Fucking love that jingle. So this is it or isn't it a porn game? Sorry, I completely lost my words. Yeah, so this is it or isn't it a porn game? This is the little segment that we like to do at the end of an episode. For anybody who hasn't seen any of the episodes and doesn't know what this is, what are you doing? Go back and watch the other episodes. They're funny. We talk about porn games. Go watch them. So this is a game that was originated by my husband, Mr. Bingley, who decided one day that he was going to troll through the Steam pages of free games and asked me the question of, is this or isn't this a porn game? Very funny premise. I loved it. I took it, I ran with it, I stole it. So we have tried to keep this topical as much as we can and keep it along with the theme of the week. Now, seeing as we have once again spent a very long time talking about musicals, last week I posed the question is this or isn't this a song from a musical about sex, in which we had a fair amount of fun. Now, what I'm going to ask you this week is, does this musical include sex on stage? Not like actual physical, but like the very strong insinuation of sex on stage. Yeah. So I'm going to name a musical, and I want you to tell me. I'll give you a brief idea of what the musical is in case you have. And then I want you to tell me, and anybody in the audience, do you think there is sex in this musical?
Ooh, okay.
So we will start with a fairly easy one. We will start with your favourite. So I know you'll know the answer to this one. The Rocky Horror Picture. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show is a science fiction double feature, all about this man, Frankenfurter, who creates a body, Rocky, and two people, Janet and Brad, who get stranded in his castle and have to fend for themselves. Is there or isn't there the very strong insinuation of sex on the stage?
Right. Now, unless I'm misunderstood, I'm going to say yes.
Going to say yes?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think we're going to get a response from anybody in the audience. So I can tell you that you are indeed right. There is a lot of insinuation of sex in Rocky Horror. You've got the song Touch Me, which is about sex. You've got Frankenfurter sneaking into Brad's bed and then Janet's bed. And then they're all standing around dancing in corsets and fishnets. It's a lot of sex. So musical number 2 is Hairspray. So the musical Hairspray is about a young girl, Tracy Turnblad, in the city of Baltimore in I believe the 1950s or the 1960s, who desperately wants to get onto this dancing TV show that a lot of her peers are in. It covers a lot of themes of racism and self-identity. What's the word that I'm after for like sizeism? That's not the word I'm after, but you know what I mean. About the idea that if you're bigger, you are lesser. Do you or do you not think there is sex on stage in this musical?
Oh, I'm not sure about this one. I'm going to say I think this. I think it. I don't know. Oh, I think it. Yes. I think yes.
There is. I'll wait another second to see if anybody from the audience wants to give an answer. I can tell you that there is not any sex on stage in Hairspray. These kids are in middle school, Steve.
Oh.
Right, there's a fair amount of innuendo.
Innuendo.
For example, a certain character called Penny is always seen sucking a lollipop, which is, it comes across in a certain way. And there's a little bit with a song where people who are supposed to be, I believe, in like the ghetto side of Baltimore are like almost slow dancing.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit dirty, but it's not a direct insinuation of sex. It's just that they're dancing in a way that was inappropriate to the masses at the time. So no, there is no sex in Hairspray.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to give you one more because we're going to keep this nice and short. I'm going to give you one of Baba Bingley's favourite musicals, Waitress. Now, this musical is about a woman, Jenna, who works as a waitress and finds herself pregnant. And it's all about her, coming to terms with this pregnancy, trying to leave her husband, who is, trigger warning, a little bit abusive, and, it's all about her journey and her trying to find her life. So do you or do you not think that there is sex in the musical?
I mean, she's pregnant, but I think that's already given. I think. See, I've gone 2 yeses, and it's been yes, no. I think.
Have I ever gone for a pattern?
For that, I mean, I always try and spot a pattern. See, I've said yes twice, been wrong once. So, no.
Okay, you're saying no?
Yeah.
B, do you have an answer? Do you think there's sex in the musical Waitress? If you know the answer, keep it to yourself. Okay, so I can reveal that there is sex in the musical Waitress.
Oh, okay.
So there's a couple. This is quite funny. So there is a song called Bad Idea, which is where Jenna, the main character, she falls in love with her doctor and has a fling with him and a very passionate affair in the bakery where she works. And one of the side characters, who I believe is called Dawn, she gets married in the musical, and the wedding is kind of Civil War themed because they're both really into that for some reason.
Yeah.
And it then turns into an orgy on stage.
Oh, right.
Just
okay.
because of the song that's sung. It is so funny. I highly recommend you check it out. I'll find the song, I'll find the clip, and I'll send it to you because it's just so amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, that is everything that I had prepared to week 4.
Is it? And isn't it? Is it? And isn't it? A poem game?
Love it. Well, I got 1 out of 3. But yeah, thank you very much, Kate, for that. For this week's isn't it? And yeah, that's pretty much where we always round up. Thank you very much for watching this week. Like I said, it's a short one, but we're just putting one out there because we wanted to talk about the Wicked musical more than anything, and we managed to actually have a bit of a mixed bag with some musicals we talked about, and game and books that we have read, watched, or listened to, and or all 3. So yeah, we'll be back with a much more regular episode, possibly in the next couple of weeks' time, because again, it all depends on the football and whether or not I'm available because of hospitality being a thing that I do. So yeah, so if we don't do one next week, you'll know why, and if we do one next week, you'll know why. So, yeah, that's it. Until then, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And we'll look forward to seeing you all next time on the To Be Decided podcast. Go and check it out over on anywhere that you find your podcast. There's on Apple Player or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever it might be, Amazon Music. Check out the To Be Decided podcast with MrSteve and Mrs.Bingly, and then you should find all of the episodes we've done recently. Also over on YouTube, the MrSteve and Mrs. Bingley YouTube channel is also that's also where you can hear this edited version of the show. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.